Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but here is today's video lesson. For this lesson, you will need your reading book, open to page 22. Also, your work packet, open to page 14. A pencil and a highlighter if you want. So today's lesson is going to be on Nikola Tesla, the electrifying inventor. Most people are familiar with Thomas Edison as inventing electricity and the electric light bulb, but Nikola Tesla was actually more of a scientist and developed more items than Edison did. If everyone will turn to page 22, we'll start with our first read where we read and find key vocabulary. Okay, so you should be open to page 22. Nikola Tesla, Electrifying Inventor by Alexandra Hanson Harding. Nikola Tesla was a visionary. That means he had plans. And one of the most brilliant scientists who ever lived. As B.A. Behrend, vice president of the Institute of Electrical Engineers, said at that group's meeting in 1917, were we to seize and eliminate from our industrial world the result of Mr. Tesla's work, the wheels of industry would cease to turn, our electric cars and trains would stop, our towns would be dark, and our mills would be idle and dead. His name marks an epoch in the advance of electrical science. In other words, without Tesla's work, we would not have many inventions today. So go ahead and annotate that. That's that whole quote there, summarized in easier words. Without Tesla, we wouldn't have factories, electric cars and trains, no electricity in our towns, and the mills that grind flour would stop working as well. Scientists call Tesla the father of the electrical age for his revolutionary inventions. His ideas brought about major change, yet his work has been left off the pages of most history books. And the caption on the picture down below is showing Chicago lit up at night. Chicago is one of the largest cities in the United States, and it will come up later when you want to picture what it was like to light up all of Chicago. All right, so up at the top we have pictures of the two famous inventors we're discussing. This is Nikola Tesla, and this is Thomas Edison. And here's a quote from Tesla. "My method is different. I do not rush into actual work. When I get a new idea, I start at once building it up in my imagination and make improvements and operate the device in my mind." Nikola Tesla. And then here's a quote from Edison. "Anything that won't sell, I don't want to invent. Its sale is proof of utility, and utility is success." That pretty much summarizes what we're about to read in this next paragraph. Tesla was a planner first, and Edison was a doer. He wanted to get things done quickly so that he could make money. One reason for this, and this being his work has been left off the pages of most history books, one reason for this was because Tesla competed throughout his career with fellow inventor Thomas Edison. The two were as different as night and day. Edison was a businessman, first and foremost. Foremost means most importantly. First thing he was worried about was creating inventions to make money. He was always thinking of ways to make money from his inventions. Tesla, on the other hand, was devoted to science, not money. He valued what his inventions could do for the world, not his bank account. When Tesla did earn money from his inventions, he spent his profits on more experiments and a luxurious lifestyle. Luxury are the extras in life that showed that he made a lot of money. Edison's ideas were practical. Practical here means simple and useful, but not always the most efficient or advanced. Efficient means working well. So they worked, but not in the best way possible. Tesla's vision was more ambitious. Ambition is thinking ahead. And trying to do something outstanding. Some of his ideas seemed far-fetched, such as a particle gun powerful enough to end all wars. A particle gun would be something that you would see in a science fiction movie. And far-fetched means out there. That might not actually happen. It's been 100 years since Tesla was inventing, and we don't have a gun that ends all wars. Other, such as AC current, completely changed the way the world works. Now, I'm going to wait to define AC current until the next page because that is going to explain what AC current is in more detail. So it will definitely have context clues. Let's turn to the next page. Tesla was also a visionary, planning ahead, whose inventions led to such common items as radios, robots, remote controls, spark plugs, which are in your car, fluorescent lights, like the ones in our classroom and in many, many businesses, and huge machines that shot lightning bolts. More importantly, he developed the system of delivering electric currents for energy that we use today. He made advances in many different fields, including engineering, robotics, and the root word there is robot. So robotics is the science of creating robots, X-ray technology, electricity, and magnetism. And the root word in there is magnets, which you know about. He had hundreds of patents to his name, and he was generous about sharing them. A patent is a paper that proves you invented something. So go ahead and annotate that definition of patent. Patents are held by the government, and it proves that you created the invention first so that nobody can copy you without paying you for the use of your idea. Unlike Edison, Tesla had no head for business and often made poor decisions. This phrase here, no head for business, is defined right here. He often made poor business decisions. Many inventors can have great ideas, but they don't always know how to use those to make themselves money. And this is Tesla demonstrating a radio-controlled boat in 1898. I had no idea that they had remote control items as early as 1898. Even though nowadays remote-controlled cars are the same thing as radio-controlled cars, they are very popular now. Well, they were first invented in 1898, even before the car was invented. So Tesla often made poor business decisions. For example, when the Italian inventor Guglielmo Marconi successfully put in a patent for a radio several years after Tesla did, using many ideas very similar to his, Tesla just laughed it off. Marconi is a good fellow. Let him continue. He is using 17 of my patents, he said. Meanwhile, Marconi made a fortune with his radio, and Tesla made nothing from his. And here's another quote from Tesla. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. So think about that the next time that you're worried about somebody copying your picture or your answer. At least you have your own ideas because the copier doesn't have any of their own. All right, last page for our first read. Meet Nikola Tesla. Tesla was born in what is now Croatia to Serbian parents in 1856. His intelligence was clear from a young age, as he quickly was able to memorize entire books. Tesla most likely got his love of inventing things from his mother, who invented household items. He studied at various universities, but was a late bloomer. And we will see the context clue for that later on. He did not focus his energies on science until he prepared to come to the United States at the age of 28. So you're a late bloomer if you start at 28, meaning you get a late start on something. Most people who focus on something like science will start that right out of high school. So at the age of 19 to about 22, you're already working on your focus, but he didn't start until he was 28. So here is Nikola Tesla as a young man. Working for Edison. Tesla started out working for Thomas Edison when he immigrated to the United States in 1884. Remember, he wasn't born in the United States, so he moved here in 1884 when he was 28 years old. Edison had developed direct current, or DC, transmission. And the definition is right here. It is a way of sending electricity over long distances to power his famous light bulb. And direct current means that the electricity goes straight from your power source to the thing that you are going to power, like your light bulb. But DC power was not efficient. We saw efficient before. That means it doesn't work well, or not as well as it could. DC power, it needed power stations every 2 miles. It required vast amounts of copper wiring. Edison offered Tesla $50,000 if he could improve the way energy was transmitted or sent. But after Tesla presented his improvements to Edison, Edison said that he had been joking about the $50,000. Furious, Tesla quit. The two became competitors. Competitors are people who work against each other. So you have competitors in sports where one team is against another. You have competitors in food and drink, like Pepsi is a competitor for Coke. And here, Edison and Tesla became competitors. They were working against each other for their own ideas. And here's a picture of Edison's lab in New Jersey, where Tesla first worked, until he went off on his own and they became competitors. Okay, now that we've finished our first read and defined the vocabulary, we're going to go back and look for key ideas and details in this first half of the book. Let's look now at your packet, page 14, and read the directions for what we are looking for. Okay, here is our close reading purpose. After reading paragraphs 1 through 8 of Nikola Tesla, Electrifying Inventor, annotate the key details. Why was Nikola Tesla considered a, quote, a visionary and one of the most brilliant scientists who ever lived? List the key details and write a summary. Now I'm going to change this a little bit. We're going to annotate the key details in the book, and I'm going to have you write the summary as your homework. This will give you a little more space to write, but don't feel like you have to fill it up, because remember, a summary is the key details written in your own words as short as possible. All right, so set that aside and let's turn back to the beginning. Selection on Nikola Tesla, electrifying inventor. Now the quote that we just read on our work packet is the first sentence. Let's circle that, because that is the main idea of this entire selection. So give it a star and call it your main idea. And so let's read the main idea again. Nikola Tesla was a visionary and one of the most brilliant scientists who ever lived. So we're going to look for details that support the idea that he was very brilliant. His peers, his fellow electrical engineers, said that if all of his work was gone, then everything would stop. So they called Tesla the father of the electrical age for his revolutionary inventions. Without Tesla's work, we would not have many inventions today. So if you haven't written that down yet, that is definitely the key detail supporting the idea that he was a brilliant scientist and a visionary. And then in the next page, we're going to look at all the things that we would not have without Tesla. Excuse me, we'll find that on page 24. All right. So here we have Tesla and Edison again, and they're comparing the two. Edison was a businessman. Tesla was a scientist first. He was only into making money second. Okay, so again, we're talking about he is one of the most brilliant scientists who ever lived, and that is because Tesla was devoted to science, not money. He valued what his inventions could do for the world. And the rest are just little details about money, which isn't as important as the fact that Tesla focused on science. So that is a key detail. He didn't mind making money and would spend it when he had it, but his main purpose was to focus on the science. The next paragraph again compares Edison and Tesla. And the key detail I find here is again that his vision was more ambitious. He was focused on science, and Tesla focused on the future. I'm going to abbreviate key detail as KD. That is another key, that is another key detail. Tesla focused on the future. He wanted to see what his inventions could do for people in the long run, not just for the moment of making money. All right, let's turn the page. Now we'll have a list of all the inventions that came later that were based on Tesla's work. And this proves again that he was a visionary. So we have that word circled again. And again, your visionary is that Tesla, planned for the future. Now, the items that we're going to underline, most of them did develop in the future, but his ideas led to those inventions. So we would not have these things today if Tesla hadn't made his start back in the early 1900s. So he planned for the future, and his inventions led to radios, robots, remote controls, spark plugs that are used to start up your car, fluorescent lights, again, like we have in classrooms and businesses and other buildings that need a lot of light. Fluorescent lights can run very cheaply and use a lot less electricity than the lights in your average house. He also invented huge machines that shot lightning bolts. Now, I'm not sure what modern day invention we have that does that. So at the Zoom meeting later, maybe somebody can come up with what they think the huge machines that shoot lightning bolts are. More importantly, he developed, this is definitely a key detail because it says so, it's important. More importantly, he developed the system of delivering electric currents for energy that we use today. And he made advances in many different fields. Engineering, which I forgot to define as building things, robotics, which you know, X-rays, electricity, and magnetism. Now that's a lot of things to be underlined. So when we talk about those key details, we're going to go ahead and put them all together in a general way, a general sentence. So here's our key detail. Tesla invented many items which led to common things we use today. So we're annotating that. We'll put a box around it so we can focus on this is our key detail. Tesla invented many items, which we underlined, and these items led to common things that we use today. Now, the rest of this page is basically some interesting details, like the one about who actually invented the radio, which was Tesla, and who got credit for it, which was Marconi. Those are some extra details just to back up the idea that Tesla was more interested in inventing things than in making money from them. When you're finished with the key detail, we're going to go ahead and flip our book over. Now, paragraph 7 doesn't have key details that back up the idea that he was a visionary and a brilliant scientist. It's just his background, all the way down to the very bottom. So we're going to skip down to the bottom. Again, paragraph 7 is just basic information about his early life. This whole paragraph, working for Edison, again, is basic information about how he got his start in working in electricity. But the main idea that I want to focus on is this. Tesla presented his improvements to Edison, and then Tesla quit, and the two became competitors. So the key detail from this page was that Tesla decided decided to work on his own. Which is good for us, because if he had just worked for Edison, he would only have been doing what Edison wanted him to do. And if he hadn't been working on his own, then we wouldn't have many of those inventions that we talked about on the page before. So those are the key details. If you didn't get them all, you can always rewind the video and go back and write them down. And your job is going to be to summarize what you have learned about Tesla. We'll switch back to the camera and I will highlight one sentence that tells you what you are focusing on. That can be your main idea sentence for your summary. And then you need to summarize the rest in your own words. So again, when you summarize, you are focusing on how Nikola Tesla was considered a visionary and one of the most brilliant scientists who ever lived. I'm going to put a star by that. That's your main idea right here. You may go ahead and use that sentence, or you can write it in your own words, and then go back and look at your key details and find the most important things that you can summarize to talk about Nikola Tesla. All right, down at the bottom, we have a question in two parts. Like on a test, the first one will be the main idea, and the second one will be what supports the main idea. Remember, if yours is cut off, you can look at the video and pause it so that you can read everything, and then choose your answers, which we will go over later. Part A asks, what is the main idea of paragraph 3? So what you should do to find the main idea is to look back and read paragraph 3, and then decide which of these answers it is, A, B, C, or D. In part B, which sentence supports the main idea? So they should go together. This right here, supporting the main idea, would be your key detail. And again, we will go over those answers when we are going over your summaries in today's Zoom lesson. Now, I would like you to skip page 15, turn to page 16 and 17. I'm going to go over the directions for these 2 pages of grammar and a couple examples, and then you can do the examples and we'll go over them later at the Zoom meeting. So, the directions are about prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase includes a preposition and its object, along with any modifiers. The prepositions are your little words: to, from, in, out, up, down, over, under. The object of the preposition is the noun. To what? To where? Which one? Where? When? How? Or how long? Modifiers are the words in between, the little adjectives that make your sentences more interesting. So I will point out each of those parts in these examples. Prepositional phrases often answer one of the following questions. Which one? Which boy are we talking about? The boy in, there's your preposition, the blue, modifier, and then sweater is the object, it's the noun. So which one are we talking about? Which boy? The boy in the blue sweater is my brother. When these come in the middle, quite often they can be taken out, and it's still a complete sentence, but it's pretty short and boring. The boy is my brother. And so if you're saying the boy is my brother and there's a whole bunch of boys over there, then you need to be more specific. And that's what your prepositional phrase does. It gives more information. So, which boy is my brother? The boy in the blue sweater. Prepositional phrases will answer where. For example, the red pencil is in the desk drawer. In is your preposition. Drawer is the object, the thing that we're talking about. You could, it's not a very good sentence, but you could have a sentence that says the red pencil is. But then we always want to know more. So where's the pencil? The red pencil is in the desk drawer. Prepositional phrases answer when. I will see you after recess. When will I see you? After recess. How? How will you do something? So she went into the dark cave. How did she go? With all her courage. And finally, prepositional phrases can answer how long. How long will you do something? The man was lost in the woods. How long? For 2 days. Some of your teachers may have called adding these things at the end, making super sentences, sentences that give more information and make your ideas more interesting and more specific. All right, so in each sentence, we're going to be writing the preposition that best begins the prepositional phrase and answers the question in parentheses. There can be more than one answer for these, so when we discuss them, if you have other ideas, definitely be sure to raise your blue hand so that we can try different words and see if the sentences still follow what they want in parentheses and make sense. So we want to know something, a preposition that answers when. So blank breakfast, we washed the dishes. When would you do that? Before breakfast? That doesn't make sense because before breakfast, the dishes are already clean. You would want to say, after breakfast, we washed the dishes. One more example, and then the rest you'll do on your own and we'll discuss later. Number 2, the book, blank, the shiny cover was written by my friend. So which one? Which book are we talking about? I'm going to say the book with. The shiny cover was written by my friend. Now, when I paused, if you were thinking of another word, you can go ahead and write that down and talk about it later. So, after you finish writing your summary, please answer questions 3, 4, and 5, filling in a preposition that answers these items in parentheses. This will be your last page of homework. It's more about prepositional phrases. And when we read these are going to have sentences that are correct and incorrect. And some of the incorrect ones are the way that people accidentally say things, but the prepositional phrase is going to be the correct way to go. So here's another definition of a prepositional phrase, another explanation. A prepositional phrase is a group of words that includes a preposition with a noun or pronoun, along with any modifiers. There are many prepositions in English, such as with, for, to, between, except, toward, and after. When the object of a preposition is a pronoun or pronouns, use an object pronoun. So these are your correct choices. The pronouns me, you, him, her, it, us, and them are object pronouns. They're the ones that can go at the end of sentences. The incorrect examples are going to be the ones that are subject pronouns that should be in the front. So here is an incorrect example. Sean practiced soccer kicks with I. I is a subject. It should go in the front. Like I practice soccer kicks with Sean. So the correct way, instead of the I, is to say, Sean practiced soccer kicks with me. Me is the object pronoun from our list up above. Here's one more example. Sean practiced soccer kicks with Crystal and I. A lot of times kids will do this because we've been emphasizing at the beginning of your sentences not to say Crystal and me practiced, but to say Crystal and I. And so people keep using the I at the end. But at the end, you want the word me. So you can say this sentence one of two ways. Sean practiced soccer kicks with Crystal and me. So taking out the I. Or if you want to replace Crystal with a preposition, then you can say Sean practiced soccer kicks with her and me. And I've got one more way that you could do that by combining those two together. Sean practiced soccer kicks with us. With her and me sounds a little awkward. I don't think we would usually say it that way. It sounds okay to have them separately. Sean practiced soccer kicks with her, or Sean practiced with me. So again, some of these can have more than one answer depending on which one sounds best. Now, for this page, we are going to underline the preposition in each sentence, then circle the correct pronoun or pronouns in parentheses. I'm going to read the sentence first and choose the correct pronoun, and then I'm going to underline not just the preposition, but the whole prepositional phrase. That's the way I learned how to do it when I was young. Julio kicked the soccer ball between Aaron and me. We learned that me is the object. It goes at the end. We're not doing Aaron and I. Now I'm going to go back and find the whole prepositional phrase. Julio kicked the soccer ball. Where? Between Aaron and me. Again, your prepositions will answer the questions. Where did I do something? And this one will also be where I did something. They're going to answer who did something. And so is this one. And this one. And prepositions. Oh, one more time. Lots of these are the who's. All right, one more example, and then the rest are on your own. Then I kicked the soccer ball toward him. The choice up here is him, not he. He would be a preposition that goes in the front, like he kicked the soccer ball. Now let's find the prepositional phrase. Then I kicked the ball. Where? Toward him. So your job is to finish the page answering numbers 3 through 7. And before we're done, I will show you a list of what assignments you are supposed to do.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt your?
No, just your little clicking heels. I could hear your heels clicking on the sidewalk.
That's because
beating to the rhythm of my heart. No, I mean, obviously you heard me talking, I assume.
not being quiet as I went by.
Yes, you were being quiet. And now I'm paused because I'm going to type up the list of assignments for them, and then I'll have to upload the whole thing.
Did you get your lesson done?
That's what I just finished, yeah. Ooh wee, this printer's getting dusty dirty. You want water? Go upstairs. There you go. Hello. Where are you? Oh, yeah, I'm using the right one.
You won.
Yeah, well, I will be in a second, so do what you need.
I just can say Chloe came up here and told me you didn't feed her this.
Oh yeah, she's lying. But you can get her bowl out of the cupboard because she did leave a little behind. Okay, so here are your assignments for today. You can pause the video to take them down, and I will see you at 2:20. All right, everybody, see you later.